Well, I hope I didn't have to make you wait long for the second video that I wanted to share in coming back from a brief hiatus. And I realized how prescient I was in saying that 6 to 8 weeks after every major holiday, when all of these transactional DNA kits go on sale, that invariably I end up finding out about some new relative, maybe not always a half sibling or something like that, but something. It turns out how right I was. I will dive into this video here called "And Now There Are Seven." I'd love to think of myself as a fortune teller in the DNA ancestry test world because I could make some nice side money by accurately predicting the future. In my last video, I spoke with regard to the discovery of new siblings that you know with a high degree of certainty that within, as I mentioned, 6 to 8 weeks of holiday gifting, you'll probably find one or two more. Well, right on cue, the notification comes. It's a Thursday, February 6th. And again, just as a reminder, this is earlier in 2020. I'm on the floor of my new house assembling furniture when the phone rings. I can't quickly get up to see it, so I let it ring. There's an IKEA Allen wrench in my hand, and I've got 3 shelves to go. The phone stops ringing. Then there's the ding of a text message. So in my world, I don't know about you, but the sequence of one after the other typically means something urgent is on that screen. Just then, the doorbell rings. These are the early days of mayhem associated with not only moving into a new house, but remodeling it at the same time. I get off the floor, setting aside my Allen wrench to grab the front door. It's our flooring contractor. So minutes later, a painting contractor. I finally get the chance to look down at my text message, perhaps 30 minutes later, and the message on my phone is from my brother CJ. Call me when you can. CJ and I have grown closer in recent months. Communication is smooth and regular between us, so I sense that his words aren't a general request, but a tactful way to say what he really means to say, which is call me now. I swipe open the screen again to reveal my call log and click on his name to buzz him back. Hey man, he says enthusiastically. We spent a good minute with the formalities of catching up on life over the past weeks, but I can practically smell his eagerness to share something big. So, he drops it into the conversation, meaning for it to be a hard transition. And boy, is it ever. There's another one, he says. We have another brother, and now he's the oldest. I confess that using the word shock with regard to my life over the past 2+ years has felt both inadequate and insincere. Because once you learn at the age of 33 that you and your dad don't share blood, or when you wake up one morning to twin sisters, everything else kind of underwhelms. I expected this, and I have said as much on these pages, but that's about me. And frankly, none of this is about me anymore. That's the part that I have not come to terms with in this saga, if you can call it that. I'm not expecting more of this to be about me. On the contrary, I'd like for less of this to be about me. But that's the point. This continues to happen. It will continue to happen. And whether or not I want it to be about me, it will be. Even if my share of this pie of people gets smaller each time. I am an unwitting co-conspirator in world-shaking news for blood strangers. Those who haven't a clue that they have 6, probably more, siblings that they never knew existed, along with other family secrets that they'd never dreamed of. The latest addition to the group, ironically, is in fact the first among us, because he's the oldest. He said he'd love to chat with you if you're open to it, CJ says to me. I can give you his number. My newest, or oldest, brother texts me about an hour later. His name is Dallas. Like the other 6 of us, he was conceived and born in Rochester, New York, but as the first, he was born in 1982. Now, to be explored at a later date is the fact that there's now a full 3.5 years between the oldest and youngest of us. This is his text. David, I hope you're well. Sorry if I've caught you at an inopportune time, but I'm Dallas, number 7. I'd like to catch up if and when you're good with it. Just let me know. And then I respond, Dallas, it's great to hear from you. I'm glad you did reach out. Welcome to the club, LOL. I'd love to chat. Hectic day, but would you be free after 12 or perhaps this evening? Okay, he says. I'm fairly open this afternoon with the exception of a 2 p.m. call, so just text me when you want to catch up. It's kind of weird having such nonchalant, informal conversations like that with someone you know is your brother, but he and I jump on the phone at 2 p.m. and immediately have that awkward exchange that new siblings have. It's like being set up on a blind date by mutual friends. You both agreed to be there, but you have no idea if you want to be there beyond the first meeting, or if you're even able to commit to something like that. Dallas explains that at a young age, he relocated to Columbus, Ohio, the son of a single mom, a lesbian who had sought the help of a sperm donor, or our sperm donor, to add to her family. She already had a daughter from a relationship with a man earlier in her life, Dallas's older sister, and oddly enough, it's that man's last name that Dallas carries as his own, Romano. A strong Italian name for a Jewish boy. Now, prior to Dallas, I'd blindly assumed that kids conceived through donors were somehow more protected from difficult upbringings. Like a mom or a dad that wants a child badly enough to seek the help of a donor could somehow smooth the path forward for the rest of their life. I was wrong. Dallas's childhood was marked in dramatic fashion in being raised by a single mom with undiagnosed bipolar disorder. And as a direct, albeit not immediate result of her lacking diagnosis, Dallas ended up in the foster care system for a period of his formative years. On top of that, he has little to no extended family to speak of, but he's a single dad himself. He and his wife divorced amicably, and they share custody of their 5-year-old daughter and, weirdly, my second niece. And most importantly, there's this. Dallas is actually someone you're like, phew, okay, it's cool to be related to someone like this. He's not a dick, he's warm, he's engaging, seems pretty funny, and he's coming to all this with open arms. He wants in, and he's not being weird about it. But there's me. As it relates to all past, present, and future discoveries, I am my own biggest obstacle, or best friend. I'm one of 7, but I'm still just one of me, and I fear who I'll be on any given day as it relates to all of this may not be up to par. All of them. I went through stretches where I was like the newest tween member of the Justin Bieber fan club. I wanted full immersion, all the pain, all the joy, all the details. But as the numbers have grown and our stories have become layered and nuanced and ever growing, I found myself unintentionally retreating at times too. Is it too much for me? I've never believed that there's such a thing as too much. Call me naive, but I've navigated life thinking that I am capable of handling whatever's thrown at me. And that's only proven true to the extent that I continue to deal with whatever it is. But at times I do retreat. To safety, to myself. I am the only sure thing that I know, or think I know. And even as permutations of my DNA continue to proliferate the world around me, it's challenging those same beliefs. I don't know if I'm ready for Dallas, but I am open to him. And I know he's able to read this just as I've written it, or now spoken it on video. And the truth is, on any given day, I don't know what I'm up for. In fact, just yesterday, he and I spoke for a good 20 minutes on the phone, and I loved it. I saw more glimpses into his sense of humor. And yet, the weight of being someone's brother, of being the greater Rochester area's brother, is at times too much to truly show up for. Or as me, rather, to show up as the best of me. Who is that fair to but me? Well, no one, but it's not that easy.